So the real question is, how much range of motion do you need? So look, there are plenty of motor control drills, corrective exercises, mobilizations on the internet, but somehow we're still not connecting the dots between the movements we're performing and understanding if we have enough requisite range of motion. Now, physical therapists, we love to say it's all functional, it's all normal, it's just a normal expression. But remember, we have these normative values about how much range of motion you should have, and those things create building blocks for functional good movement in terms of my brain has access to the possibilities of choice, that I have movement solutions, and I'm not just working around what we've started calling stable compensation, which means, hey, it may not hurt now, and it certainly may never hurt, but it's not as good as it could be. It's not the fullest expression of what you're capable of. And so what I want to talk about today is ankle range of motion. Now, most of us are obsessed with dorsiflexion, especially around the ankle when it comes to doing things like pistols or, heavy squats. But no one talks about it as it relates to jumping. And remember, the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, by all means, just not the only way of, the only paragons of range of motion, but they say, hey, normative, which means typical, which means you within a standard deviation, without your special snowflake ankles, right? You need to have 20 degrees of dorsiflexion. So that's a lot of dorsiflexion, especially if I lay you down and take your gastroc out of it and you're stuck at zero. Now the implications for this I want to talk about today, again, are jumping. And the jumping I'm talking about is making sure that if I need to compress with my torso upright, like a push press, that I'm able to maintain the pressure from the ball of my foot to my heel. Look, we know that that balanced position gives me the most access to the system as I'm jumping, right? That's going to be my most powerful, especially if I'm going up, which is a lot of what our proprioceptive training is about. It's about teaching people where up, straight up and down is, how do we manage ourselves in gravity. So if I'm dipping and driving, then I'm trying to keep that pressure, whatever foot width I happen to be in, right? You'll see that I want to try to be balanced between ball and foot of heel, ankle engaged, and being able to stay upright. And if I'm trying to jump a barbell up, it's going to be tricky if I start to lean forward. It's going to be tricky. And now what's important about this is if I don't have any dorsiflexion, then a couple things are going to happen. One, I'm either going to run out of room and have to change my strategy to a tilt, which means that my vector is now going this direction, or I'm going to have to do some kind of radical scoop, which I don't have the ankle range of motion for. So what we end up seeing, even as people are transitioning to a flat-footed position to jump, right, or balanced position to jump in the Olympic lifts, either from the bottom up or the top down, what you'll see is that athletes start to compensate. They start to turn the feet out. Feet start to collapse, or they start coming up on their toes, which is the fastest way to shut down your hamstring and glute function. So one of the things we're looking at is, hey, how do we keep the athlete into the best position possible? Certain Olympic lifting shoes will give me some additional slack here, but that dorsiflexion is required for me to jump effectively. And if we're going to get to the bottom of some of those knee-related issues, the jumper's knee kinds of things. Imagine if I'm trying to keep my kids vertical at the net to jump a basketball or do a quick rebound. If I don't have that, I'm immediately going to have to solve that problem mechanically by tipping the whole system forward. So you will see either torsos come forward, which doesn't work. So you see athletes come onto their toes, which is a different kind of competency that we need to be able to manage, right? To be able to change direction off the toe. We're not always flat-footed, but we want to have choice. And if you have choice, your brain will know most powerful here or most powerful off the toe. But what we often see is then as people compress, they start to solve this problem in a whole bit different ways, which means keep the shin vertical, start adding this load into the back. And so the bottom line is we start to see a whole lot of compensation ripple through the system trying to solve what? One foot-related problem, which is I don't have any dorsiflexion. And more importantly, don't know how to load the dorsiflexion because all I do is spend my time going around. If all we value is how high you jump or how many kilos you have on the bar, it's easy to miss what we're training, which is, hey, can I keep my torso upright and jump this position? And more importantly, can I do that to the best expression of my physiology?